What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Former IBF super middleweight champion Caleb Sweet Hands Plant from Ashland City, Tennessee, will be looking to get back into the winner's circle when he takes on former super middleweight champion Anthony Dirrel from Flint, Michigan. It's going to be the co-main event for Deontay Wilder's much-anticipated return versus Robert Helenius. That's a WBC eliminator. And this fight, just like the Bumgarner versus Mayer fight, could easily be a main event fight. You got some people out here saying that this is a tune-up fight for Caleb Plant. That's ASA 9, ASA 10, ASA 11, and ASA 12. Ain't no tune-up. This is a good fight. Anthony Dirrel is a former world champion. Anthony Dirrel's been in there with some big names in the sport of boxing. He's fought Badu Jack. You know, he's fought David Benavidez. He's been in there with some good opponents. You know, when he came into the sport of boxing, Anthony the Dog Dirrel, he was looked at as Andre Dirrell's little brother. Didn't come in with the same accolades, did not come in with the same accomplishment, did not come in with the same pedigree as Andre Dirrel. But when you look at his overall career compared to his brother Andre Dirrell's overall career, you have to say that Anthony Dirrel got more and accomplished more out of his career than his more talented brother. With all that being said, Caleb Plant is a guy that, in my opinion, is a top 5, super middleweight. You can make a case that he's a top 3 super middleweight, but he's definitely a top 5 super middleweight. He's a guy that's very technical, very slick, fighting off the back foot, using the jab to set up the right hand, does a good job of jabbing and doubling it up on the jab, not only to the head, but to the body, knows how to control distance. You know, he's a guy that's a very scientific fighter, taking on Anthony Dirrel. Now, Anthony Dirrel is a versatile fighter. He can fight off the back foot, and he can fight coming forward. In his last fight, he got a highlight reel knockout, which re-energized his career. And he'll be looking to get the win over Caleb Plant, because right after his last fight, Anthony Dirrel called out Canelo Alvarez. We all know that was a pipe dream. He was no way in hell he was going to get a Canelo Alvarez fight after fighting a nondescript opponent in his last fight. But he did get the win, and that did give his career the boost that it needed, because he was kind of like in a holding pattern, and you could make a case that his career was on a downward spiral. But with that win, he's back in a big fight versus Caleb Plant, and if he gets a victory over Caleb Plant, then he will have a stronger case to be made to fight Canelo Alvarez. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. I believe that Caleb Plant is the more fresher fighter at this point. I believe that, he's going to be able to control Anthony Dirrel from the outside, as Anthony Dirrel will be in a seek and destroy mindset. The trash talk for this fight has been on a whole nother level. Caleb Plant said he don't know where this came from. He ain't never had a long conversation with Anthony Dirrel. Anthony Dirrel really don't know him, but Anthony Dirrel feels some type of way about him. Let Dirrel tell it. He says that Caleb Plant is arrogant. And Caleb Plant just says jealousy. He just mad that he's just not as good as me. So somebody going to be right and somebody going to be wrong. Caleb Plant say he's going to get his hand raised. Anthony Dirrel say he's going to go to war, and he's going to beat Caleb Plant. So we will see what happens. And we will see what transpires. I like Caleb Plant by decision. I think Anthony Dirrel is going to bring his best fight in a long time. I think he's going to give his best effort. Not to say he ain't gave his best effort before, but you look at the Kyron Davis fight. Why are you going to a decision and ultimately ending up in a draw with a Kyron Davis caliber fighter? You beating guys way better than him. When you won that vacant belt at 168 pounds, beating the guy that Canelo Alvarez beat over there in Florida. When you beat him, you put on a good performance. You was able to fight off the back foot. You was able to use the jab. You was able to control him with your jab, use the right hand, hit him with the 1-2 all night long, and basically make him fight your style of fighting. That was one of your better wins, but you can't fight like that fighting Caleb Plant, because Caleb Plant is better at that style of fighting than you are. You must be the fighter that comes forward. You must go to the body, try to break down Caleb Plant. Hopefully him and his team, which is led by trainer Sugar Hill Stewart, who in my opinion is one of the best trainers in boxing. Look at the job he did with Tyson Fury. I think if they look at the Canelo Alvarez's fight with Caleb Plant, they're going to have to cut the ring off, go to the body, try to break down Caleb Plant, and go to the body early so it can pay dividends later on in that fight, and ultimately you get the stoppage. Because if the fight goes to the scorecards, I have a hard time believing. Outside of multiple knockdowns, I find it hard to believe Anthony Dirrel winning a decision over Caleb Plant. I just don't see it. I don't see him winning enough rounds in this fight. He's definitely going to have to get either multiple knockdowns or a knockout to get the victory. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Caleb Plant, path to victory is obvious. You know, he just got to put in the rounds, put rounds in the bank each round, each round, control them from the outside. Use your jab, use the speed advantage that you have over Anthony Dirrel, use the technical superiority that you have over Anthony Dirrel, and just keep putting rounds in. And at the end of the day, you'll get the decision. But the key, I think, that Caleb Plant must show that he did not show in the Canelo Alvarez fight, which was to his ultimate demise, is he's got to start sitting down on his shots. You know, you shown that you can fight effectively off the back foot, but you got to start sitting down on your shot. He did that in the Jose Ukitake fight. If he's able to do that versus Anthony Dirrel, he could get the stoppage. He does have underrated power, but it just, does he, depending on the opponent, want to sit down on his shots? He wasn't willing to do that because he was very wary of Canelo Alvarez's power. But against Jose Ukitake, who came into that fight known as a power puncher, he was able to sit down on his punches. So what that told me is, early on in that fight, when he got a little taste of Jose Ukitake's power, he felt that he could hang in there with the power. So that led him to ultimately start sitting down on his punches, and he knocked down Jose Ukitake multiple times. And that, to this day, in my Deontay Wilder voice, is his best performance of Caleb Plant's boxing career. With all that being said, I like Caleb Plant by decision win. I think it's going to go something like 9 rounds to 3. Could be 8 rounds to 4, but let me go 9 rounds to 3 for Caleb Plant. I think he hurts Anthony Dirrel. I think he cuts up and busts up Anthony Dirrel. I think Anthony Dirrel has his moments. I think he cuts the ring off. He's got some explosive power too. I think he lands some shots to get Caleb Plant's attention, but ultimately he just don't have the punch output, and he just has seen his better days. He's not the same fighter he was 5 years ago. And I think that will be to his demise. And I think the fresher, younger, quicker, better overall fighter in Caleb Plant wins this fight by unanimous decision. 9 rounds to 3. 117-111. Unanimous decision victory for Caleb Sweet Hand Plants to once again stake his claim as a top contender in the super middleweight division. Let me know your thoughts on who you like in this particular matchup, Caleb Plant or Anthony Dirrel. If you think it's going to be a knockout, give me the round in the comment section you think the fight ends in. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard.Briscoe.3551. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports. The man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.